You're listening to Eating for Eden, episode 14. When it comes to doing something about climate change, your food choices matter. Thanks for tuning in to Eating for Eden, a podcast that takes a food-first approach to climate action. I'm your host, Jessica J. Schroeder, and I am passionate about food that tastes good and does good. I'll guide you with practical tips and help you thoroughly enjoy your food along the way. As you go about life as usual while trying to lower your food-based emissions, you may find yourself wondering, how do I eat plant-based at restaurants? While there are fully vegetarian and vegan restaurants out there, it's likely you'll find yourself at typical meat-centric restaurants more often than not, especially if you're not the one calling the shots. And even if you are choosing the location, you may not have plentiful plant-based options available to you depending on where you live. Some restaurants will present more challenges than others. While sometimes it's as simple as choosing one of the several vegetarian or vegan options on a menu, other times you'll need to be a bit more creative. I'm going to equip you with the tips you need to feel confident eating plant-based when out at a restaurant. Here at the outset, take heart. Whatever kind of restaurant you find yourself at, and yes, even a Texas Roadhouse, there will likely be something you can work out to order. Rather than feeling a need to set your values aside, follow these tips to figure out a dish you can order and enjoy while staying consistent with your values. Tip number 1, skim the menu for veg-forward options. Start by seeing what you have to work with. Are there any plant-based options already on the menu? These are the easiest options as they're already recognized by the kitchen and waitstaff and priced out on the menu. At a local fried chicken joint, I was surprised to find a lovely dinner salad packed with kale, quinoa, avocado, fresh cherry tomatoes, beets, and more. Don't make yourself feel dejected by making assumptions. Check out the menu. You might be surprised. I encourage you to do this beforehand as well, viewing the menu online so you can walk into the restaurant with a bit more of a game plan, not to mention less concern and more confidence. It's even okay to snack a bit before you head to eat out so that you don't end up either hungry or caving to eating what you really don't want to be eating. Preparation is key to sticking to your values with confidence. Whether that is choosing in advance what you're going to order, queuing up a few questions in your mind, or planning to eat a bit before you go, having an idea of how you'll face the situation can be a tremendous help. Some restaurants may not have veg-exclusive options, but they may have what I'll call veg-forward options that you might ask to adapt. For example, if you're out for breakfast or brunch and want an order of avocado toast without the eggs, simply request that they be left off. If you're considering a skillet loaded with lots of tasty veg, but also bacon or sausage, ask if the meat can be excluded. For lunches and dinners, it's often easy to omit meats and cheeses from salads, pastas, bowls, etc., as long as they're not already incorporated into a sauce. And even then, I've simply learned to ask rather than make assumptions, because you don't necessarily know depending on how it's worded on the menu. And sometimes you can even ask for substitutes. So you might have an option of adding mushrooms or beans or tofu in lieu of meat on some dishes. I've even been known to order pizza without cheese, simply just requesting more of the plant-based toppings instead. Tip number 2, find restaurant ingredients you can pair together, creating your own dish. If there are no veg-forward options already on the menu, ask the waitstaff if you can combine some ingredients into a plate or bowl off menu. The key here is to ask politely and already have an idea in mind. If you're kind about it, people are often happy to help out. Also, simply let them know that they can charge you whatever they feel is fair. A year or two ago, I found myself at a barbecue spot where meat was the central thing in every dish. Without any plant-based options to opt for, I took it upon myself to create a killer salad. I skimmed the menu to see what other ingredients were in the, quote, fridge and pantry, so to speak. When asking for something off menu, you want to be aware of what the restaurant already has on hand to work with. This is key to helping them help you. You want to make it as easy as possible for the restaurant to accommodate you. So at the barbecue joint, I asked for a salad with several ingredients that were just spread across the menu that caught my eye. So I added red bell pepper, avocado, pickled onions, and their house-made kimchi. Unfortunately, I had no whole grain or legume to add to the mix, but I didn't sweat it. This ended up being delicious and kept me feeling light and energized throughout the rest of the day. I want to encourage you here, don't be shy. Your choices matter. If there is no plant-based option on the menu yet, you're voting with your preferences. Maybe they'll see multiple people making similar requests and eventually make some changes to their menu. And again, making it easy for them to adapt to your requests and being kind about it goes a long way. You want them to want to serve others who eat like you do. Tip number 3, when all else fails, just ask. If you have trouble figuring out an idea based on what is on the menu, don't hesitate to speak to waitstaff about options. Odds are you won't be the first person they have encountered asking a similar question. And if you are the first person, well, congratulations, you're a change maker. Well done. You might start by stating what your dietary preferences are, or you might start with a particular question about something on the menu and build from there. Try framing questions like this. I was wondering if it would be possible to, and explain your preferences to avoid particular ingredients. Depending on the context, you might describe yourself as vegan or vegetarian, or you might be more specific about the ingredients you're trying to avoid. For example, you might say, I was interested in putting together a few of your sides, like the baked potato or baked sweet potato, the broccoli, and the black-eyed peas. Would it be possible to get those without any butter? I'd like to avoid animal products. See? Pretty easy. Tip number 4. Don't forget to say thank you. No one likes to be an inconvenience. I get it. Many of us would rather stomach the discomfort of eating something we'd rather not eat than face the opposite discomfort of seeking a way to order something we'd be more comfortable with eating, and which would be better for us in the short and long term, and not to mention better for planetary health. Keep in mind that being humble, patient, and kind goes a really long way. It's okay to realize that you may be creating a bit of an inconvenience by ordering off menu or sending questions back to the kitchen, but treating the staff well in the course of that exchange can make the world of a difference. Also, avoid apologizing. Instead, simply emphasize smiling and expressing gratitude. Show you are grateful that they are willing to work with you and tell them how delicious the plant-based meal was and thank them for their flexibility. Finally, don't forget to tip well. As a bonus tip, if you get to weigh in on restaurant options as you're choosing where to go, keep in mind a few types of cuisine that tend to have more plant-based options available. In addition to those that you may already know of that are particularly vegetarian or vegan friendly, consider options like Thai, Indian, Mediterranean, and Middle Eastern fare. These cuisines tend not only to have various dishes that are vegetarian or vegan, but they also may have sections on their menus dedicated to these categories, which makes the decision-making process a lot easier for you. These tend to be safe bets, especially if, for whatever reason, you're not able to view a menu in advance. Lastly, remember that gathering with others over food is about so much more than the food. These tips are meant to help you make good choices at restaurants with less stress so that you can be present with others. At the end of the day, don't let food be the sole focus. Enjoy fellowship with those you love. If you have questions or topics you'd like me to address here on Eating for Eden, I'd love to hear from you. Send an email to edenandme@substack.com. Also, if you've been enjoying this podcast, please consider leaving a review. It's a great help for getting those important words out to others. Finally, become an email subscriber on Substack to have new episodes delivered directly to your inbox. If you want to support the show, you'll even have the option to receive monthly exclusive recipes, episode transcripts, and more by becoming a paid subscriber. That's all for now, friends. Until next time, be well. Thanks for listening to Eating for Eden. If you found this episode informative or inspiring, please consider sharing it with a friend. Climate change is an issue we all need to tackle together, so let's invite others to journey along with us as we continue the conversation and start taking action. Until next week, friends, take care.